Thank you, Madam President. From the start of this year, there has been an increased focus of the Security Council on issues relating to Afghanistan. The Council members' visit to Afghanistan, the ministerial debate on Afghanistan and regional connectivity, and the enhanced focus by the chair of the 1988 Sanctions Committee on the situation in the country all bode well for the attention that the worsening situation in Afghanistan necessitates. Thank you, Madam President, for following this welcome trend and organizing today's debate. We also thank Special Representative Ambassador Yamamoto for sharing his insights on the prospects for peace ahead of us in 2018. We appreciate the eloquent portrayals of the strides made by Afghan women and what more needs to be done in this regard. Madam President, the report of the Secretary General has highlighted what we feared. 2017 was perhaps one of the worst years in terms of civilian casualties and security incidents in Afghanistan. Thousands of innocent and precious Afghan lives fell prey to mindless violence. It is in this context we welcome the adoption of Resolution 2405, extending the mandate of UNAMA as an affirmation of the collective objective of support for the Afghan people. The brave Afghan people must not lose hope, and we, the international community, must not lose heart. We specifically welcome the Council's focus on linkages between extremism, terrorism, drug production, and illegal exploitation of natural resources of Afghanistan. The increase in the cultivation of poppy in areas under the control of the Taliban and the Taliban's involvement in virtually all aspects of the opium trade suggests that it is akin to a drug cartel. We hope that the Council will better utilize the range of tools available to it to deal with these transnational networks of drugs, terrorism, and crime. Madam President, despite the international community's efforts, those supporting the terrorists affecting Afghanistan have not been deterred. There are still those who provide sanctuaries to support the dark agendas of terrorist organizations like the Taliban, the Haqqani Network, the ISIS, Al-Qaeda, LET, and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Indeed, the challenges posed by cross-border terrorism emanating from safe havens and sanctuaries to Afghanistan and to our region must be addressed. Madam President, today being the International Women's Day, we join in acknowledging that women are perhaps the worst affected by the protracted conflict and violence in Afghanistan. Notwithstanding the continuing conflict situation, Afghanistan has come a long way since the days of the Taliban, who had reduced women to less than second-class citizens under a despotic regime. Women in the country are no longer imprisoned in their homes and are making progress in all sectors, from technology to athletics, from transportation to civil service. As we heard earlier, they are committed to continuing their struggles in order to play a significant role in building a progressive and stable society. Afghan women have achieved a lot in the near 2 decades, and we must not allow these gains to be lost and wasted. Madam President, India has invested over $2 billion in Afghanistan since 2002 in reconstruction and development of the country. A strong focus of our work has been on nearly 550 high-impact community development projects which run across areas such as education, health, agriculture, irrigation, power, and energy. All these have a direct bearing on the improvement of lives of all Afghans, including girls and women, especially for projects in education and healthcare sectors. Indian women non-governmental organizations have undertaken various activities in Afghanistan, such as vocational training of Afghan women in India, as well as establishing women vocational training centers in various provinces of Afghanistan. They have been working for almost a decade with poor women workers and sending them for training as training of trainers in India. As of date, 150 women trainers have been trained in India out of a target of 200 till May 2018. Besides, over 3,000 Afghan women have been trained in Kabul and other provinces in Afghanistan to help them to establish women's self-help organizations in Kabul. During the last 3 years, about 5,000 Afghan female students have been trained under various higher education scholarship schemes. Moreover, several rural women from Afghanistan have been trained at the Barefoot College in Rajasthan, in India, in the field of solar electrification. We will continue our work on the ground to help the women and girls of Afghanistan become self-reliant and capable of playing an effective part in the reconstruction of their country. Madam President, if we are to preserve the achievements of Afghan women and children, as well as girls, the international community must continue to extend its full support to an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace and reconciliation process. The Afghan National Unity Government has recently once again issued a new call for peace and has proposed a concrete approach to the Taliban to join the mainstream. The Afghan government's willingness for peace is despite the fact that armed groups have identified themselves and demonstrated to all of us that they are the irreconcilables. These efforts of the Afghan government calling on the armed groups to cease violence and join the national peace and reconciliation process that would protect the rights of all Afghans, including women, children, and the minorities, deserve our full support. However, it should also be clear to the armed opposition that there would be no tolerance for those who continue violence. Any violence needs a robust response. The irreconcilable guns need to be silenced. Madam President, the indomitable courage of Afghan people, the spirit of Afghan youth, and the strength of their dreams are a source of collective pride for our region. India is committed to continue its effort to strengthen this spirit by supporting all initiatives designed to end violence and bring back peace. I thank you, Madam President.